Donald Trump, in many ways, was exactly the same as Barack Obama. And I'll tell you why. He had unique ideas. He was a unique individual. Nobody like this had really ever been elected before. He did a whole lot of good things and could have really been a big deal, but fell short. If Donald Trump, in my opinion, if Donald Trump had just...
Obama didn't encourage thousands of people to storm the Capitol.
No. I don't mean like
everyone
that.
Falls short.
I don't mean by
at
that.
At this point, Donald Trump falling short is a little.
Well,
I try to hang with the dude. I can't.
Well,
I know what you're saying.
But by falling short, I mean Barack Obama could have really made incredible inroads towards race relations in this country, and he fell short.
That's not his job, though.
Well,
it's not his job. Why didn't Bill Clinton do it? Why didn't Bill Clinton create inroads, or why didn't Ronald Reagan create inroads? I mean, why would it be Barack Obama's job to create inroads with race?
Well, because Barack Obama was the first black president. Okay, even though Bill Clinton says he was the first black president. 43
presidents before that do that?
Because he was different. Like I said, Trump and Obama are both different. We had never elected a black president in this country before. I think I'm correct.
But that doesn't mean that he's going to be able to make inroads with. It's not that just because he's elected as a black president doesn't mean that he's going to be able to make inroads with 200x plus years of entrenched racial strife and concern. I'm not saying that we're as bad as we were 250 years ago.
No. But what
I'm just saying that I don't see why him being a black president would be able to do more than he can do. I mean, the president doesn't control people's emotions.
I'll go ahead and use some stereotypes here. I expected the black guy to do more because he was the black guy, and he knew because he had lived it. I expected
he knew because of what?
I expected the black guy to do more because he was the black guy, and he knew more because he had lived that. Just like I expected Donald Trump to be the businessman, because he, as far as I can remember, I don't know that we've ever had another president who had never been elected to any office before, and his main claim to fame was he was a billionaire businessman. He could have taken this country on a economic path that would have just like none other. Now, there are those that say he did. But then he called people names. He acted like a 12-year-old. He'd scream and yell and holler. He would fire everybody that he disagreed with. And in that respect, he fell short. Okay? That's where I compare the two. Because they were unique individuals. We had never done this before. That's where I compare the two. That's why I say they're very similar, and they both fell short.
I do think there's similarities. The falling short, I don't agree with that, in the sense that I think every president in the history of mankind falls short. I don't think Donald Trump fell short. I think that if Donald Trump had, and honestly, I am defining this thing that happened with the Capitol. I'm redefining his entire. I'm redefining, because I would have been closer.
Well, he's
on the show.
He's redefined it himself.
I'm saying I'm redefining his entire 4-year legacy with this, on some level. I think you have to.
I think you have to.
I think everyone else fell short. I think he set his own movement back worse than it was in 2015.
I agree with you.
That's the difference.
I agree with you.
I think that if he had just said, look, I lost, Joe Biden's sleepy, Kamala Harris is, I don't know, whatever he says about her, and been a dick and just left, I would have been like, yeah, okay, Trumpism. I would have actually hung with Trumpism on some level. Mm-hmm. But when he intentionally, and if you look at the details of what happened, people talking about what did Trump stand up. The reason why that there was not more security, and this is the breakdown that's coming down, was the Pentagon said that they would not send more National Guard because they needed to wait for authorization from the Defense Secretary, who technically, if that person there is just a proxy for Trump, because that nobody even knows who that guy is. So effectively, both Muriel Bowser and the governor of Maryland explicitly stated that they basically needed Trump's authorization to send more help, and he didn't do it. That's on another page. That's beyond Nixon. Like, I don't think this touches Watergate, because no one actually. There was a break-in that Nixon didn't even actually himself orchestrate. He just covered it up. He may have orchestrated, who knows. But as far as this is, people died.
Yeah, 5 of them. One of them a police officer.
So far, yeah, 5 people died. And so you're talking about premeditated negligence. That's just another level. And it means that we're going to go back over time and comb over what he did and find things that are going to be shocking, I believe. Because people don't just wake up one day and decide, I'm just going to send all of my supporters to attack the Capitol. And again, I don't think Donald Trump wanted those people to invade the Capitol. I think he wanted them to go down there and be assholes. But the fact that he didn't have the understanding to realize that his people are demoralized. And I will say this, I'll say something that'll make them mad. A lot of people don't understand, well, why are so many inner city black folks willing to throw their lives away over a dispute to kill each other? And I'm saying those people on the mall, those people in the Capitol, they actually now can say they know what that's like, because they did the same exact darn thing. When people feel like their identity is so demoralized by what they've been taught, like, I don't think that it's poverty that causes high black crime rates. I don't, because as a black person, I've seen what happens. I don't think it's poverty. I think it has more to do with education. I think it has more to do with a mindset that they're taught, that even I was taught by a lot of grown-ups. And I resisted it, of course, but to be demoralized, to see yourself as being, even if you have a good job, even if you have money, in this rich country where you can do whatever you want, to define yourself as a demoralized victim. At a certain point, when you see someone like Donald Trump, you can't let go. It's like a drug. And I think Donald Trump acted and served like a drug to these people.
Oh, I think you're exactly right. And he, when you're the president of the United States, when you're in any type of authority figure, and I will go from as high as president of the United States to a father or mother of a family and everything in between. You have a certain obligation to those who look up to you and in a way depend on you.
Yeah.
You have an obligation to act a certain way.
And that's what I really don't like about Trump, is not that it's not that he's, I still don't think he's a hardcore racist. I think he's just an amoral person who but he doesn't have any concern about his followers. He doesn't care about them.
Well, and I agree with that, because look at the people that were in his cabinet. I mean, Mad Dog Mattis. He was. Right. There was not a more respected military person.
Nope.
Not a more respected one. And how many months was he in before he said, "That's it, I'm out. I can't take this."
Well, I mean, even Barr is saying the guy is engaging in a repulsive manner. So,
well, look at all the other cabinet members who have quit. Now, maybe some of that was political. I don't think so, because most of these cabinet members, her name escapes me, the education secretary.
DeVoy.
Yes.
DeVoy.
Yeah, she resigned. Now, yes. She was a big time Trump supporter, and Trump supported her. And she said, "That's it. I've had enough. I'm out." Even Mike Pence, who a lot of people criticized him because, well, Mike Pence has no backbone. He's just doing whatever Trump wants. Well, Trump said, "Look, you need to make sure you overturn this electoral college thing and do what you can." He said, "I'm not doing that. That's not the way it works."
Yes, he can, but Mike Pence did the right thing. I get, and it was very interesting because we were on she's watching MSNBC for a minute. I was at my mom's house, and Mitt Romney came out and made a really strong statement.
He's been the other adult in this room.
And this the black lady, she's the one that took over from Joy Reid in the morning show.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Yeah, well, he should have said this 4 years ago." And I'm like, what does that even mean?
It means nothing.
I mean,
it's a talking point.
Why would you say that 4 years ago? This didn't happen 4 years ago. Oh, well, all these people should have just. I'm like, okay, well, but now he's saying it now. And he's saying it now, and so that's where we are.
Well, and that's another thing. You brought up Mitt Romney. Now I want to expand on him. Mitt Romney ran for president in, was it 2012?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he ran for president in 2012. I voted for him. I wasn't a huge Mitt Romney supporter, but you know what? I was okay with the guy. And everything that I read said the reason he lost the election, number one, Obama was presiding over a very strong economy. It's hard.
Absolutely.
It's hard to beat a president when the economy is on the wax. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's hard to do that. That might have been number one. But if that wasn't number one, or at the very least a very close number two, is traditionally, at least for the last 40 years anyway, 35 to 40 years, evangelical Christians have flocked almost exclusively to the Republican candidate. And I cannot tell you how many evangelical Christians that I know said, "Why, I can never vote for Mitt Romney. Did you know that he belongs to a cult called the Mormon Church?"
Right.
They're not. They don't even believe in the real Jesus. They believe that Joseph Smith was the angel. Mordecai came to him and gave him these tablets and said, "This is the real Bible." I can't vote for a guy like that. And here's where I responded to those people, and they canceled me before there was such a thing as cancel culture. I said, "Really?" I said, "We're both Christians, and we believe that a guy came down, lived for 33 years, then they hung him to a cross and killed him, then he rose from the dead. You don't think that's bizarre?" And I was canceled. So they voted for a man. They wouldn't vote for the guy because Mormons wear psychedelic underwear, so I'm not voting for him.
But that's always been. I mean, even going back to the 30 Years' War, you would find that the Catholics and the Protestants often would hate each other more than they hated the Muslims. And at times they would actually both sides would work with the Turks against their European enemies, because it's one thing to be another faith. It's quite another to be what they call heretic or an infidel in your own faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fundamental part of human nature, where you see that in the black community, you see that with women, you see that in the gay community, you see that with conservatives, you see that with liberals, where if you don't follow the rules of our identity, we're going to be more brutal towards you than the so-called enemy. And it's always been that way. And it's part of human nature that, we probably should try to understand a little better, is that authoritarian streak in that you got to do it this way, But I'm not going to.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But I would like to think that we've learned something since then, and apparently we've not. A perfect example. This book I'm reading about Churchill called The Last Lion. Churchill was deciding who should he go ahead and get in bed with to fight the Germans, because he had two different fronts. Should he put more resources towards the Muslims in the Middle East, or should he put more resources towards the Chinese or the others in the East? And he chose the Muslims. And you know why he chose the Muslims? Number one, they had the oil, and at that time, Iraq and Iran were British subjects. But the main reason he chose the Muslims, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, "Look, I know they're not Christian, but at least they believe in a deity, in one God. These people in the East believe